Today I'm going to be talking about the magic of credit utilization rates. Your credit utilization rates are basically the proportion of available credit limits to you that you're actually using in a given month. You'll have a credit utilization rate for each account, and you'll also have an overall credit utilization rate across all of your accounts. Typically, credit utilization rates apply to credit cards, but you can also find them on things like store cards and other financial agreements. Now, the reason that your credit utilization rate is important is to help improve your credit report. Credit reports are basically your financial history that lenders see when you're applying for new financial products. In short, the lower your utilization rate, the better that will look on your credit report and the higher the scores you're likely to have. That's because if you're going up quite close to your credit limits, it looks like you're desperate to use all of the credit that's available to you. Conversely, if you only use a small proportion of that credit that's available to you, it looks like you can manage your money a lot better. So what does this mean in practice? Well, let's say that you start off with a credit limit on your first credit card of £1,500. If in your first statement period you spent £750 using the card, then you'd have a 50% utilization rate. Now, that's not bad for someone starting out, particularly on a card with a low limit like £1,500. It can be difficult to manage your expenditure versus payments for limits this small. But best practice in the UK is to not use more than 25% of your available credit. That applies to each credit account that you've got and your overall credit utilization rate across all of your accounts. Now, you might be thinking, well, if my limit's only £1,500, then it's going to be difficult for me to keep within 25% of that for an entire month. But there are a couple of workarounds. Firstly, you can make more regular payments before your statements actually come through, and this will have the effect of keeping your balance fairly low overall. For instance, if your credit limit's £1,500, then you could make a payment every time that you go over £375, therefore you're never going over 25% of your credit utilization. The other thing that you can look at doing is raising your credit limits. With many products on the UK marketplace, you can do this online or in-app. For instance, with American Express, you can log on to their website and you can manage your credit limit yourself. Now, there's a really neat trick with Amex, which is to say that you can raise your credit limit to 3 times what your current limit is every 6 months or so. Once you take out a new Amex product, you should wait for the first 61 days to pass, in other words, about 2 statement periods. Once you've made full payments on those, you should definitely be able to go in, manage a credit limit increase, and request 3 times your current limit. Sometimes they'll come back with a counter offer, and you can go ahead and accept this, then come back in about 6 months' time and try again. Every 6 months or so, you should go in and you should review this. You should ask for 3 times your current limit and accept any counter offers that come back through. So what effect does this have? Well, let's say after 61 days of having a card, which initially came with a £1,500 limit, you then raise that limit to £4,500. Then you could spend about £1,100 every single month without going over 25% credit utilization. It just makes it much easier for you to manage your expenditure and payments, and it looks better on a credit report. In fact, credit reports also reward accounts that specifically have high credit limits, usually above the £4,000 mark. It gets even better when you raise these limits further 6 months or so down the line. For example, your limit's at £4,500, you then request an increase to £13,500. Even if you spent £1,350 a month, going up a little by this stage, you'd still be using only 10% of your overall credit limit. Having a credit utilization rate as little as possible for each account and across all of your accounts is really going to help you improve your credit report, and it will give you access to the best financial products on the UK marketplace with the lowest rates and better terms. So once you've tried this tip, comment below and let me know what increase you got. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thank you.